9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got me up the coast, boy. Wanna hear the ocean roar crash over me. Then ride it home, dance it up in moonlight. Hold me tight and don't let go. Watch over me. We are all stardust, stardust, stardust. Left behind, left to find one another, face the sun, fear no one, 'cause we are all one, we are all one, we are all one, we are all one, we are all. Lift me up, get moonchild, put me into overflow. Superstar.
Hey everybody! So I wasn't expecting going live over here. I was actually live on my other channel, and I because I didn't expect to talk about anything to do with Fred because I said I wasn't going to. Well, that was if I did say if I got more information, I would, unless I got more information, right? So I make an excuse. And I can't take credit for this because actually I was live on Empress Ziggy and Annie Dom came in there and told me right here about a video that was done a few days ago on a channel called Donnie Laws. And it's about Appalachia mysteries, unexplained. And here is more, and I freaking love this because it's just more proof that Fred is being honest. This is freaking fascinating, guys. And right when I say that, it's 111 in chat. 111 in chat. I didn't even watch, I've only watched 10 seconds of it. I literally just got sent this, by Annie Dom over on Empress. And I was like, I gotta go live and share this. Because as soon as I started hearing it, and it's been a dream of Fred's, really, I feel like. I guess a dream, I don't know. He just talked about how he would like to do a documentary on the monkeys and the Holler because nobody seems to... a lot of people think it's a myth or whatever, or a lie. It's true. Well, this is interesting. I mean, super, super interesting. Here, let me start. I guess I can start playing.
Night watch for a coal company, and he had two younger brothers, and they were about my age. And a lot of times we go with him where he night watched all the strip mining equipment, all the dozers stuff. We like go and have a big time jumping around on those dozers. And he had an old bus, and we'd cook and everything. Had a good time there. But anyway, one day we were headed that way, and we stopped beside the road up there looking at something, and we heard something that caught our attention over the berm, over the side of the hill in the road down there. And we walked over to that berm, and we heard something down in the woods and making horrible noises. And it sounded like you saw those howler monkeys on the TV. And it sounded a lot like those howler monkeys. It was making the awfulest noise you ever heard. But we couldn't see anything, but you could look way down through the wood line down.
That's interesting. He describes it as a noise like the worst noise you've ever heard because that's similar. That is the same thing in different words that Fred said about this. It's like it's a horrible noise. Didn't that one yeah, but that was like Pet Monkey, I think. I was trying to okay, this was in Middlesboro, Kentucky, it looks like. Is that I think Middlesboro, Kentucky? The ape sounds. Hold on, let's see. I'm at 9:38. I'm gonna check something.
About it, it's the truth. The town, yeah. I know a lot of people probably don't believe it and didn't believe us when we told them, but I've got no reason to lie about it. It's the truth. Never expected to see something like that in a town. Especially, hey, look where I live right here. Right in amongst all the trees and hollers. That's where you expect to see something like that, but it was in town.
Now, this next story is a weird one. He shared with me about being back in these mountains, back in his younger days, up on an old strip job, coal mining country. Some weird sounds. Kurt, you growed up in these old mountains. You've seen and heard a lot of things you couldn't explain. You got any stories you'd like to share of something weird that's happened to you in these old mountains?
Well, let me tell you one I was telling you earlier. Let's touch on it a little bit. It's back in the late 70s, probably around 78 or something. My brother-in-law night watched for a coal company, and he had two younger brothers, and they were about my age. And a lot of times we go with him where he night watched all the strip mining equipment, all the dozers and stuff. We like go and have a big time jumping around on those dozers. And he had an old bus, and we'd cook and everything. Had a good time there. But anyway, one day we were headed that way, and we stopped beside the road up there looking at something. And
I'm trying to figure out where exactly he was here. The one before, it looked like they were talking about Black Panthers, and I think that's one that Fred said he believes is. I think he said is in the mountains too. But I don't know if that was Black Panther or what that was. Anyways, so the one before said Middlesboro, Kentucky. Wonder. This says Appalachia. So let's keep going.
We heard something that caught our attention over the berm, over the side of the hill and the road down there. And we walked over to that berm, and we heard something down in the woods and making horrible noises. And it sounded like you saw those howler monkeys on the TV. And it really sounded a lot like those howler monkeys. It was making the awfulest noise you ever heard. But we couldn't see anything, but you could look way down through the wood line down and in the tops of the trees, and you could see the limbs and the leaves. It was in the summertime, and it's thick. But you could see the leaves in the trees and the limbs swaying back and forth. And like I said, it sounded just like a bunch of monkeys. But we never could see anything. Never could.
Was that late in the evening or night?
Yeah, it was late in the evening. It was before dark.
Huh. You never seen what it was?
Never seen it. But like I said, all you could see was the leaves and the limbs swaying back and forth and all the noise.
Well, there were some weird experiences there, just mountain mysteries, things that we just can't explain in these old mountains. But this next story is some of his spooky stories he's told, one he really experienced. There's so many old stories and stuff in these mountains that's being forgotten. But you got anything you'd like to share with us as far as supernatural, unexplained stuff that you just couldn't explain?
Yeah, that's good. Now we're going to get into the haint stories. I never was really one that believed in ghosts and haints and boogers. although mountain people here, they always scared me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was really fascinated by them. My mom had great stories, and I loved to listen to her stories as a kid. I wanted to hear them, but when it was bedtime, that's when I dreaded it because I was going to have to go to bed, and then I was afraid they were real. And like I said, I never really, as I got older, got up in my teens, I didn't really believe in stuff like that. And then one time I saw something that I've never been able to explain. I experienced that, and that's really one thing that kind of shook me up a little bit about supernatural stuff.
I'm just trying to see what he's talking about.
I've been up visiting my cousins.
This isn't about.
Grew up here in an old coal camp. That's Holler, and there was a big commissary that had been torn down years before we moved there. But there's still coal camp houses there, and quite a few residents left. But like I said, I was visiting my cousins, and it was dark. It hadn't been dark too long, and I was headed home down the little gravel road, and I got right past the steps that used to go up into the old big commissary, and I just barely got past it, and it was dark, like I said, but I could see, and I looked down the road toward where the mailboxes was near our house, and it was dark, but I saw something in the middle of the road that was even darker than the dark. It was extremely black, and it looked almost like the size and shape of a door. And it was just like instantaneously as I saw it, I stopped dead in my tracks when I saw it. And the moment that I saw it over the berm.
So this is right here where I guess he took a picture of towards the noise that he was hearing, I suppose. He saw the leaves and limbs moving, but wasn't ever able to see anything. Fred seems to say that August, which August is here in a couple months, that August is the month that you'll hear them the most. So for those who, if anybody remembers and happens to be thinks about it and happens to be out there, and if you have to, it's at night too, just exactly like the same, like this guy says. It's definitely at night, and Fred says August. So that's interesting, I mean, Fred has seen them himself. He saw their face. It looks like, and I kind of wonder if this, I don't know. I haven't asked him if this is the type of monkey that he saw. If it looked like, because he said it has a mane like a lion. And that kind of does have like a mane type thing. But he just said it sounded like holler monkeys. Thank you, Matthew. Hey, Mrs. Cole. Yeah, I was over trying to read some cards, and somebody sent me this, and I was like, I gotta share this with you guys because I thought it was very interesting. And once again, this came from Annie Dom. And the channel is Donnie Laws, which East Tennessee.
Welcome, friends. Welcome to
East Tennessee. Channel's all about everything outdoors, history of Appalachia, stories, metal detecting, wildlife videos, unexplained, do-it-yourself projects, and more. located in the southern Appalachian mountains of East Tennessee, with a love of finding old history and exploring the great outdoors, showing the wildlife and natural beauty of the mountains as we search for history. This channel has 9 different outdoor category playlists to choose from. I strongly believe in keeping it real. History is laying all around us. Let's go find it together. Join the adventures as I explore the hidden secrets of our past and the beautiful of the mountains. And his name is Donnie Laws. East Tennessee Outdoors. Did I get mail from you yet? Not yet, but I haven't been home today, but so I'll let you know. So it definitely could have showed up. Yeah, show them some love. Here, I'll share the link. It's hey, Dottie. Yep. So that it was a video 3 days ago.
And it really sounded a lot like those howler monkeys. It was making
There's the black panther
too,
that,
but we couldn't see anything. But you could look way down through the wood line down and in the tops of the trees, and you could see the limbs and the leaves. It was in the summertime, and it's thick, but you could see the leaves in the trees and the limbs swaying back and forth. And like I said, it sounded just like a bunch of monkeys, but we never could see anything. Never could.
Was that late in the evening or night?
Yeah, it was late in the evening. It was before dark.
Huh. You never seen what it was?
Never seen it. But like I said, all you could see was the leaves and the limbs swaying back and forth in
These mountains. He's seen it in the city. I'll let him explain that story. You got any old panther stories or painter stories out of these mountains?
Oh, yeah. I got one. We call them painters. I know correct pronunciation is panther, but we call them painters. That's what all the mountain people here, the Holler people, we all call them painters. And heard stories growing up
across their lap.
People saying they heard a painter and they scream, sound like a woman screaming or something like that. And growing up, been hearing this pretty much in this one holler my whole life. And, you know, it runs into Tackett Creek and no business and the end of the Cumberland Mountains stuff. And me and my friends as teenagers, us boys, we'd go camp. We didn't take no guns or anything. We just go, we called it laying out. And we go by the creek or up on the mountain and take us a sack full of taters and onions and some flour. And we'd cook and camp out overnight. And I know a lot of people said that, you know, they'd hear them, if they start cooking, they'd hear them down them hollers screaming or something. We never did. And I never did, you know, think much about it until I think it's 2006. Me and one of my friends in Middlesboro, Kentucky, we were working and we did a job and we were building a carport for a man. And he had a whole lot of chickens and something had been getting his chickens. And he had a live trap and he caught a few coons and possums. And but something was still getting his chickens. So we went and built the carport. Then we went back on a Saturday morning to put shingles on it. Our boss sent us over there on a Saturday morning. And it was around 8 o'clock and the sun was trying to break through and the fog was lifting a little bit. We were nailing those shingles on and my buddy hit me on the arm and he said, look, a mountain lion. And I thought, yeah, right. And I looked up. And up on the hill above those chicken cages, we saw a big cat sitting there. And it was so black and shiny that it looked blue. That's how dark it was. And just about as soon as we saw it, it got up and it walked out of sight over the over the hill, and we just sat there dumbfounded, looking at each other, and couldn't believe it because it was right beside the golf course in Middlesboro, in a town like that. I've lived here in these woods, these hollers and hills, ridges all my life. Never saw anything like that, and that's the last place I expected to see something in a town right near a golf course.
Well, was it sitting there watching you when you know?
Yeah, it was sitting looking right down at us. I guess it was getting ready to get it a chicken.
Doesn't this guy sounds a lot like Scott H, doesn't he? You could tell that Scott is definitely from East Tennessee because he sounds a lot like these people. So actually, I guess during the speaking of the holler monkeys, I guess during in August is supposedly their mating season, and I guess you can hear them even during the day, is what Fred told me. During August. But usually I think it's like evening times. So it'd be interesting to see. You have all alligators walk on golf courses in Alabama. Who's talking? It's Donnie Laws. My oldest daughter lives in Knoxville, and Middlesboro is only a little over an hour from there. My rent went from $400. Oh, I wish my rent was $600. $400 would be even better, but I'll take $600. Yeah, Donnie Laws. Yes. So he talks about his experience with the monkey thing as well, which starts right after this one. I guess we could watch it again since there's more people in here. We'll just continue with the Black Panther for now.
They done got it one that night before.
Only like
30 more sitting there looking at us.
How far away was it?
I'd say probably 75 yards, probably.
Huh. And, just sitting there looking at you.
Yeah. And it had a big long tail. It's the size of a big dog. I mean, it was shiny.
Yeah.
That would scare the crap out of me. That thing looks scary. I mean, I love cats, but like that would scare the crap out of me. That is huge. Moved to East Tennessee. Well, there's no monkeys involved in Summer Wells' case. That's not what I'm saying. In my opinion, I guess I have to say it like that. Sorry, I was responding to a message. To it. Well, eventually I'll either be in East Tennessee or he'll be up here in Indiana. But I can't really put my plans on here because they freaking, you know what I mean? It's a short on the confessionals. What's that? This is crazy, though. I can't imagine seeing that thing out there. It's pretty, though, isn't it? I mean, that thing, you can't help but respect it. Look how huge that freaking cat is. Holy freaking crap. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. I couldn't imagine running up on one of those things. Oh man! It's a short on the Confessionals channel. There's another one. reports. Let's see. We'll go look at it real quick. We'll come back to this. We'll replay that. Wait, let's see here what she's talking about. Are you talking about the werewolf thing? Fred says the monkeys smell like ammonia. But see, I wonder though, so I would think black panthers would smell like ammonia because they're big cats. You know how, and you know, cats, they smell like, their piss smells like ammonia so bad. Monkeys in East Tennessee. Hold on.
I stumble, and as I'm stumbling, I push myself away from it. Dude, it was such a weird experience.
I heard the ape sounds in East Tennessee. First time I heard them was last November in one of my magical spots that it's magical. I don't know how else to say it. You know where I'm talking. But also when you and I were out, we were doing the high boy videos. We were riding around the mountains at midnight on electric bikes with 20-degree weather. It was freezing. And the only reason why Jack wasn't there is because we didn't have a third bike. And we brought the mountain bike and it was broken. And we came back. We're like, Jack, you wouldn't have been able to keep up anyways.
No.
Those things flew, man. We were out there and we had just got out of, I think, the first church, and we heard the noises across the road, and they got closer. Literally, what was across the street was making this sound. I'm like, what am I hearing? Like, I'm in East Tennessee.
You're in East Tennessee. I stumble, and as I'm stumbling, I push myself away from it. Dude, it was such a weird experience.
I heard the ape sounds in East Tennessee. First time I heard them was last November in one of my magical spots that it's magical. I don't know how else to say it. You know where I'm talking. But also when you and I were out, we were doing the high boy videos. We were riding around the mountains at midnight on electric bikes with 20-degree weather. It was freezing. And the only reason why Jack wasn't there is because we didn't have a third bike. And we brought the mountain bike and it was broken. And we came back. We're like, Jack, you wouldn't have been able to keep up anyways. Those things flew, man. We were out there and we had just got out of, I think, the first church, and we heard the noises across the road, and they got closer. Literally, what was across the street was making this sound. I'm like, what am I hearing? Like, I'm in East Tennessee.
You're in East Tennessee.
So, yeah, I guess, you know. Let's go back to the other one we were just watching. That's interesting. But see, it's rare to get to actually see them. But I mean, if anybody would have the experience of seeing them, it would be somebody like Fred, who's lived in, you know, the Holler his whole life, and out there in East Tennessee, and in the deep mountains, kind of, and deep Holler. But he actually has seen a black panther as well. But I mean, I would freaking the monkeys thing. That's crazy. They gang up on you. Oh my God. Monkey's getting attitude real quick. Petite panther. Aw. You heard the panther scream one time, and it screamed the living crap out of you? Yeah, so the monkey thing, you would probably have to live out there on a Holler You know, you can't live out in Kingsport or something, you know, or Johnson City. I'm guessing you would have to live out in the mountains to have such an experience, or be out in the mountains when it happened. But, you know, he saw this panther right next to a golf course. Panther sound like a woman screaming. Yep.
A big dog. I mean, it was shiny.
Yeah, right in the middle of the town.
Right in the middle of the town, yeah. I know a lot of people probably don't believe it and didn't believe us when we told them, but I've got no reason to lie about it. It's the truth. Never expected to see something like that in a town. Especially, hey, look where I live right here. Right in amongst all the trees and hollers. That's where you expect to see something like that, but it was in town.
Now, this next story is a weird one. He shared with me about being back in these mountains, back in his younger days, up on an old strip job, coal mining country. Some weird sounds. Kurt, you growed up in these old mountains. You've seen and heard a lot of things you couldn't explain. You got any stories you'd like to share of something weird that's happened to you in these old mountains?
Well, let me tell you what I was telling you earlier. Let's touch on it a little bit. It's back in the late 70s, probably around 78 or something. My brother-in-law night watched for a coal company, and he had two younger brothers, and they were about my age. And a lot of times we go with him where he night watched all the strip mining equipment, all the dozers and stuff. We like go and have a big time jumping around on those dozers, and he had an old bus, and we'd cook and everything. Had a good time there. But anyway, one day we were headed that way, and we stopped beside the road up there looking at something, and we heard something that caught our attention over the berm, over the side of the hill in the road down there. And we walked over to that berm, and we heard something down in the woods and making horrible noises. And it sounded like you saw those howler monkeys on the TV. And it really sounded a lot like those howler monkeys. It was making the awfulest noise you ever heard. But we couldn't see anything, but you could look way down through the wood line down and in the tops of the trees, and you could see the limbs and the leaves. It was in the summertime, and it's thick. But you could see the leaves in the trees and the limbs swaying back and forth. And like I said, it sounded just like a bunch of monkeys. But we never could see anything. Never could.
Was that late in the evening or night?
Yeah, it was late in the evening. It was before dark.
Huh. You never seen what it was?
Never seen it. But like I said, all you could see was the leaves and the limbs swaying back and forth and all the noise.
Well, there was some weird experiences there, just mountain mysteries, things that we just can't explain in these old mountains. But this next story is some of his spooky stories he's told, one he really experienced. There's so many old stories and stuff in these mountains.
The South is hot and humid enough to spore in their caves, you know. Deer, turkey, and coyotes around here. Have you ever seen we hear a lot of other things too. Have you seen a black panther? It must be the most difficult thing to get it must not be. I mean, it must not be very easy to get pictures of them, or there must not be very many of them. And his experience was, he said, so that would have been a long time ago. Well, kind of. I mean, 50 years, but it's not like. Well, actually, it's not 50 years. Yeah. Oh, well, 45. Other wildcats. North of Asheville. See, Fred said that those monkeys give like an ammonia smell. Like that you could smell when they're around, you can smell like strong ammonia. Like when he's heard when he's heard them, it usually is accompanied, you can usually smell like ammonia. I wonder if that's like does anybody know? I guess I could probably look it up. I wonder if their urine is like very like, like how cat urine is. She is over here, Linda. She's just she's doing some things, so she has us in her pocket, I think she said. But, once somebody said, there's a lot of caves and stuff, I thought, well, maybe that's how they survive in the caves. I mean, there are species that become accustomed to their environment, and over time they will their body will build defenses, and it will be passed down to their young, the future generation. So I don't know. There can't be that many. I mean, there's probably only monkeys aren't a lot of them endangered? And a lot of times monkeys, like their young don't survive because the mothers are so mean to their young. So if there is some monkeys out there, I wouldn't think that there would be that many. Especially if it is true that they were let out in the mountains like back in the 50s or 60s, and that's really not that long ago. That's not really long enough for it to multiply too much, because their young don't they have one at a time, or twins, just like humans. Hey, Dina. Well, Alan White, Fred's not in the chat. How about you? Tell us about the hogs? How about you tell us what you're trying to get at instead of playing games? Just don't beat around the bush. Just tell us what you're talking about. Coyotes, they're in packs. Yeah, supposedly the monkeys travel together in packs, so there's more than just one. Obviously, it wouldn't. Gosh, I have freaking mosquito bites all over me. Fred said there's been no hogs on the creek in 10 years. Wait, didn't Redmond have hogs or pigs? Isn't that the same thing? You need to get up with me, Fred. Who are you? He had them. Who the hell is Alan White? He had them all over his place. When was that? When are you saying that he had hogs over at his place? He's talking about the Russian boar? Oh, you don't mean like as pets. You mean wild ones. I might have just misunderstood you, Alan. What's his papers that you have? Ex-brother-in-law. You're talking about so you're talking about the wild hogs. Yeah, they have been poisoned out. They're not there anymore. They've been they freaking the game and fish poisoned them out, I guess, is what I'm told. Well, he's not in here, Alan. Yeah, you can email me at youtubeziggy@outlook.com. When him and Matt went gin singing. Oh, yes, wild. Okay, I thought you were trying to say like something bad, like he had like he had hogs and like you were trying. I thought you were trying to insinuate something. When him and Matt went gin singing. Fred's a good guy. He is a good guy. I thought you were talking crap there for a little bit, Alan. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. I'm so sorry. People have been giving him a hard time like he's freaking involved in the, Summer Wells case. And like I know he could never be involved with such a thing. Fred said he doesn't know Alan White. Alan, is that really your name? I didn't ask you, Kalina. No offense, but I didn't ask you. I was asking Alan, not you. You don't know him. Never would he do that. But did you ever meet him? Okay. Yeah. Okay. He said he knows you. But yeah, you could always email me at youtubeziggy@outlook.com. Yeah, he knows. Okay. Yeah. I've done the astrology on it, and he just doesn't show up as hidden enemy in Summer's chart. Ellen White. No, Laura's last name is White. Well, you are in my... Oh, who asked you if he was a good guy? Who asked you, Kalina? Yeah. He knows who you are. I just thought you were starting trouble at first, but sorry about that. You're a good one. He's a good one, guys. He's a good one. False alarm. False alarm. You've heard of those monkeys? Yeah, I mean, have you known anybody that's seen them besides like Fred and Laura that claim that? I don't know if Laura's seen them. I can't remember. Oh, really? Black Mass Paranormal channel recently had a video about monkeys. Black. Is it the glowing eyes thing? The cryptid? Is that what you mean? Hold on, let me share the screen. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alan. I'll make sure I messaged him. And you could probably message him on Facebook too. I've seen enough trouble. Which video do you mean? Nunya Beeswax. Which one is it that you're? This one? The cryptid? It's live from Cursed Mountain. Oh, thank you, Matthew. He definitely appreciates it. I'm waiting to see if Nanya tells us which video it is. I don't know if she means this cryptid one in East Tennessee. Large wolf-like animal.
In my area. Kidding. Oh crap.
Let me see.
I can't tell where the fuck it's coming from. There are bear. But we have a black bear out here, and they aren't typically too aggressive. They will run away before they really do anything.
What does that mean?
Like
He didn't
attack,
shoot at
unless
anyone.
you're an idiot and there's a bug around.
Which time are you
We do
talking?
have a
What
lot
do
of
you mean?
problems with that happening. Hang on, y'all. I'm kind of in a bad area that I can't get out of.
Is Nanya still here?
So
See, right here is what she put. Oh, that's sad, Stephanie. Are you serious? Which one?
hi, Joy. Thanks for coming out. Always carry a piece with you. I always have a piece with me. I am a huge Second Amendment advocate. But I also do not believe that weapons need to be used as props, as we see in a lot of videos.
It was Cookie.
So if you see me out in the woods,
Well, if Nanya lets us know which video it is, I'll play it. But this looks like it's about it probably is. It says the dog eater. She thinks she had a heart attack. Oh, you mean when the gun was shot off, Alan? Oh, I didn't know about your incident, Alan. But okay. So Fred just messaged me about it, but yeah, you had a similar incident, I guess, a year before. He said that you guys, yeah, he didn't shoot at anybody. It was a reaction. He wakes out. It was all a messed up situation. You're talking about the Virginia thing that happened in like 2011 or something. That his sister tried to say that he tried to kill his wife and kids or something. The time his mom called and said he had shot at Laura, he didn't do that. Oh, I know he didn't. He would never freaking do something like that. I mean, he would have to be like, See, I know him, you know, I know him, and you know him, and but a lot of other people just don't know him, and he's been painted as this like scary guy on YouTube. And he's like the complete opposite. He would do anything for anybody, you know? He's the most caring, gentle person ever. He's not going to freaking. I mean, you have to really provoke him to get him to react and shoot back. Grew up with our land connected to a state park, and we had once sunning himself in our front yard one morning. I was wow. Yeah. Do you know if Laura has cancer? No, we don't. But you know, I've even said I would still help Laura to this day, and I would love to talk to her, you know, sometime once things cool down some more. But we have to be honest about the situation. I can't talk with her if she's gonna refuse to, you know, accept the truth. I was watching Ryan for a few minutes, and he was talking crap about Fred. He pulled up a driving with no insurance on Fred. Oh. Well, he's going to be really mad when he sees that warrant that he thinks that he reported on in some big news. Once he finds out that that's freaking going to be wiped out completely. Which, by the way, guys, still don't know what that was. Still, I mean, they didn't even. Fred needs to ask more questions. I mean, he doesn't ask questions because part of the reason is, guys, he really has a hard time hearing. He's very hard hearing. He's half deaf, like legit. And so because of that, he has a lot of anxiety about making phone calls and talking to people because he can't hear. And especially nowadays when you call places and it's like, you know, it goes over overseas and he's talking to somebody with a different accent. So it's really hard for him to call places and he can't hear them. Yeah, how did Fred treat his children? And do you know? Well, yeah. I mean, if he could. You know where? Well, I'm not asking where she is. Do you know? Is she dying of cancer, or does she have cancer? Do you know? I couldn't get her to freaking go to the doctor for nothing. Do they call that the demures? Yeah, making up Fred saying the M word. I know what she's talking about. And you guys, I mess up my freaking words all the time. I do some more than Fred, but he does too. And just because he almost accidentally said murdered, if he even did, he doesn't even remember. He doesn't even think he did almost say it. But even if he almost did, that doesn't mean freaking anything. She needs to tell us why she said that Summer Wells was in the drywall. You know? GoFundMe since cervical cancer, a hysterectomy would take care of that. Until last night, I thought Laura had no ID to get a license or TennCare. She doesn't have a license or ID. That's what doesn't make, like, people don't understand. And there's a lot more too, but I'm not gonna. I don't have a problem with Laura, and I understand she's hurt and stuff. I get it, but it's not like she's saying it is, and the truth is just the truth. Sent cleaning supplies and food to Fred and Laura's asking for a car, no license or insurance, but we are all bad people. I know, One Love. So she has no freaking, she has some nerve and no right to say that Fred almost said murdered, or actually she tried to say he did say murdered when clearly he said missing. And she didn't even play the whole thing. Also, have her play her whole conversation with Laura. Play it straight through, not like pick and choose. Play it all. Put the whole fucking thing up. What are you afraid of? I didn't listen to it, but I heard that it was like picked and choose, like what she played. He was good to his kids. Yeah. People on here have tried to say things like he's a pedophile and all kinds of crazy stuff, Alan. Like they're trying to paint him like that. Like he's the furthest thing from a weirdo like that that I've ever met. I say that Laura is probably fine, but I have not seen or heard from her. Well, there's a channel taking up a GoFundMe for Laura because she says that she's dying of cancer and can't get to her appointments. And I tried like hell to freaking help her, and she wouldn't. I don't know. It just was frustrating. So that's why people are wondering, but it's not my business. So I don't really care. And I think people should, help her if you want to help her and stuff, but just know, I think people should be honest what you're helping towards. You know what I mean? Where is Laura now? You're not seen her since the last time you've seen Fred? Okay, Virgo. Fred knows where she is, but I mean, I know where she is, but I'm not going to put it out there. I thought it was Laura didn't, she was done with them, like, but I really tried to get her to come up to Indiana with them and, try to get clean and stuff. Yeah, Fred said he'll get a hold of you, Alan. He messages on the Facebook he's using is a picture of me and him. I hope that Laura finds somebody, like somebody clean, you know what I mean? That she'll, maybe it will encourage her. Because she's a good person. Overall, she is a good person, guys. She is. But, I don't like dishonesty at all. And especially when it comes to that kind of stuff. Hey, Libby. I will, Connie. Yeah, I thought so too, because, they thought, people thought, seeing I knew the last name and stuff, I was thinking, oh no, is this person? But Fred messaged me and told me he was cool, so. Listen, last night, both clips, she tells Laura something to make Laura think, yes! Connie, money was sent to Laura to get her ID, and she wouldn't go visit. Yes, I know a lot of people who sent her money and try to get her rides and stuff. Yes, that's exactly what I figured that she probably did. If she probably, in my opinion, got Laura, when she maybe was a little messed up, and then she probably got her real mad, saying things like, Ziggy's saying this and Ziggy's saying that, and how do you feel about Ziggy? Like really making things and exaggerating things to get her irritated and upset. Like, that's what people do. I don't talk bad about Laura. I want the best for Laura. I don't have any problem with Laura. Like, I really don't. But it sucks when lies are being put out about Fred, and I'm put in the position that I have to say, that's not true, guys. You know what I mean? So, and it might seem like talking shit about Laura, but the truth is the truth. If it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. I'm not going to sit there and allow straight lies be said, just because I don't want to hurt Laura. And it's not anything against Laura. It's just at all. It puts me in a really bad position. But I guarantee PG exaggerated some things, because somebody told me that she was saying, how do you feel about Ziggy always saying that you pushed her to Fred or something like that? Like, how do you feel about Ziggy constantly saying, like I just say it constantly all the time, nonstop, when I've literally probably said it like 2 times. Thanks, Alan, for showing up. Appreciate you stopping by. Well, that's the only thing I didn't even want to really say that, Carrie, but that's the only thing I could explain why she would be, because, or why she would be like putting out lies. But my guess is PG got her upset and made her think, and I'm also believe it's an old recording. I don't think it's something that's recent. And that's really important for context, because if it was closer towards when, like March or even April, when things were really fresh and extremely new, and PG sitting there provoking, making her think I'm saying this and that. And it was at a, so I think it's an old recording, but I don't think that she would do something like that here recently. I know that's what other people were saying. Right, 120 acres he can't, because, well, he can't like be around her, but he has a lot of years. It could get him in a lot of trouble if he uses again, and it's just not worth it. Oh, it was newer because Laura said her and Fred were getting along. Okay. So basically, that, what? That's not a friend. How is she going to sit there and act like she's doing something good? Tell me, what good does that fucking do? Her reaching out to my husband's ex-wife or girlfriend? What good does PG think she's really going to do? What intentions was that? Her intentions were not good. It was to freaking cause drama. It wasn't anything good. And you could, from what I'm hearing from Nicely Done and others, it was provoked, making her think that I'm talking shit about her. That is some shady shit. This is the same person that tried to get me to fake a drama, getting into it with her, so for views. I've never had somebody try to make me, or somebody come to me and try to get me to fake content, except PG. PG is the only person who suggested I act like I don't like her to get more views. I don't know how many times I have to say, but that is just not me. And I've had the same, and it's not a new question either. It's not just because I'm mad at her. I've had this question for a very long time. And anybody can go look into this on Facebook. If you go search, I have screenshots if it's even taken down anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I have screenshots of this Prayer Garden, the Sissy Bible account that she uses, like sharing content of Allison Harrison years before Summer went missing. Back in like 2019 or something, when True went missing or something. Pretty odd, don't you think? How did she know Allie before Summer went missing? Is what I want to know. I had another creator contact me via text the number months ago asking me to participate in manufactured drama. I flat out refused. It wasn't. Well, I was just saying that because that's for perspective and context and showing, like, out of all the crappy people in this community, I've only had one ballsy enough to try to get me to manufacture drama for her and my benefit. Probably more for hers, I'm sure, because that's how those people are. It's not really for mine benefit. Yeah, she can't go on there and be like, act like, oh, it's all okay because me and her, I won't care. Or usually I don't. She's done this stuff so many times before and I ignore it. But when it goes to this extreme, it's ridiculous. Then trying to push something that you don't even know for absolute fact. That doesn't. She's lying. She has seen zero proof of cancer. I'm telling you, she's fucking lying. I've never seen any proof of it. Fred's never seen any proof of it. Fred himself's never seen proof of it. Pearl Garden of America is not going to have seen it if Fred has it, because this is not something new. She's been trying to say she's had cancer for years. She's done it before, guys. People get sensitive with that topic, and that's why people are afraid to question anybody and ask for proof on something like that, so people get away with it. Help Laura with, if you want to help her with other things, like, but not for this, like, for can't, I like, do what you want, whatever. I've helped. I don't know why people. I heard also that Prayer Garden was trying to say that I didn't want people to help Laura. I've said the complete opposite. I don't have a problem with people helping Laura. Why would I have a problem with that? I've helped her many of times. Why would I have a problem with that? The only thing I have a problem about is lying. And when the lies involve, my life. Because in order for this all, because it's being promoted as in, oh, poor Laura, Fred's such an asshole to leave her when she's struggling with cancer. That's how it's getting promoted. It's not getting promoted, let's help Laura because she's just in a bad spot. On top of it, it's a way to try to slam Fred and be like, oh, you're such a horrible person for leaving Laura when she's dying of cancer. So see why that puts me in a spot? And then they're calling me a homewrecker, like... Anyways, we've had a good talk, and I'm sure I'm going to pay for this live. You heard Laura yourself on your panel saying she was done with Fred more than once. I know, Giselle. Like, and people don't want to believe, they don't care. You know what I mean? They don't care about the truth. It doesn't fit their agenda to make Ziggy look bad or make Fred look bad. Honestly, I feel a lot of them, treat Fred bad because they don't like me. I feel a lot of them decide to say Fred's number one suspect or guilty because they don't like me. Like, what logic is that? You're not in the right community. You need to go to a drama community if you're going to go by your feelings. True crime, you're supposed to be about actual facts. And just like I told you. Oh, right, Laura, I'm going to. And thank you so much, Amos. That's so sweet of you. Pretty soon PG is going to turn into a day. I knew that I've always said that PG's not really one to go to for facts, okay? She's one to go to it for if you want to laugh and, and drama and entertainment. She can be really funny. But she's just not a truthful person. She never has proof. What about that one time she was going to come out with this, like, I can't remember what it was. One of you guys in the chat will. She was going to come out with this bombshell proof that she had against Donald Wells that she recorded. And you remember and then we had to like freaking basically harass her and keep bugging her about this recording that ultimately never existed. Because when she brought it on, it was a sound of some kind of machinery going. And I was like, that is what you're talking about? Seriously, that's what I said. I called her out on that shit. I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now. Do you think you're smarter than everybody else or something? I know where somewhere, and she was staying with another guy too. But not that I care. It's not any diss against her or anything. It's just the truth. And then we have to question where are these people coming from that she randomly has show up in her chat and come up on the panel, It's like, where did they, and then it makes you wonder because I know she sets up this shit. It makes you wonder, did she know, like with this, what's that guy's name that's been on there recently? Ogre? Is she know Ogre from the past or something? Is he a mutual acquaintance of both? I don't know, guys. Where it's hard to say if it's like, I've seen her with her integrity and what she pulled here, and I've seen her do before. I want to put her past it to completely like make up that whole thing. Seriously. Yeah, and what I'm guessing is she probably, if it's anything, if she does have anything, she probably has some kind of sorry, somebody's asking me to drop the link and I'm trying to see what they mean. Candace knew her girl like such a when Candace was a pro. Somebody was wanting to come on panel, but I'm trying to, it's kind of about to, I was just about to end it. What makes her think she has cancer if she won't go to the doctor? She says she was diagnosed in jail, in Hawkins County Jail of all places. Meep. I would see, that's where she said she was diagnosed, Hawkins County Jail. I bet we could probably call down to the jail and see if they give people, if they test people for cancer, if they give freaking pap smears in jail. She may have some irregular cells, which many of women, that's normal. Momentarily, Bema says, whoever done this awful thing this summer is very close to her and knows damn well what happened and is withholding issues going on at that home. I'd say, look, and no, it wasn't Fred. No, there's no reason. It's crazy to me, the logic. People even saying he's a suspect. It's like, why? Why is he a suspect? Why do you call him a suspect? Give me the reasons. Because Don Wells mentioned him as a meth dealer, or because I understand because of drugs, and I get that one part. But everybody on that road is freaking on drugs and selling drugs. But why target Fred? I can't listen to the word drama. I've seen it my whole life. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry, Alan. I don't usually I try not to mention her because she doesn't, want to be mentioned. That's why I'm like, why did she was just telling Fred she wanted it to be left alone and have peace in her life. I don't understand why she would do that. I think what I'm thinking is like she didn't know she was being recorded. Fred told her a week ago to watch out for Prayer Garden. She sent a message like a couple weeks ago, like, mad at us because she's like, I just want peace and be left alone. And, and people are bugging her and messaging her and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of taken back. But my guess is she. Hate crimes have consequences. That's why they don't do that in jail. I know why. I mean, she could have maybe had really bad pains and I mean, to go to for the jail to take you to the hospital, you have to be like dying. They are seriously, jails are notorious, and we're talking about Hawkins County here too. A lot of jails are, I mean, Marion County, a lot of jails around here in Indiana are notorious for being bad about people just dying because they didn't get the medical care that they needed. They didn't get taken to the hospital because jails will not take you to the hospital because they're unless it's like absolutely obvious that you're freaking real sick, because they get too many people abuse, that and use it as a way to try to escape. And I'll continue. I will continue to talk nice about Laura. I'm not talking bad. It just puts me in a really bad position to have to be like, guys, that's not true, because it's being used as a way to attack Fred. It's not just like, oh, let's help Laura. It's like, let's help Laura because Fred Hill's such a fucking asshole for leaving her when she was dying of cancer. Yeah. Fred lived with her for 20 years. He knows exactly when she's high and when she's not. You guys know how it is when those of you who have been in long relationships and have dealt with somebody who had or if you have kids and you know how they act when they're using. If you have kids that have drug problems or whatever, you can freaking tell. You can tell just in their voice. The cancer is peachy. Yeah, it's been a year. I mean, that she's been saying this for a year. Like, she ever since Fred first went to jail, she's, that's what. Remember, I told you guys about the call that she called me and said she had cancer and that would I take care of Fred if something happened to her. That's like the one time I talked to her on the phone. That's how I know that she's not talking on the phone every day to Laura. That's a fucking lie. Laura's not the type to talk on the phone all the time. Good luck trying to get a hold of her all the time like that. Is today really PG's birthday? Well, that thing that somebody sent me, no, it's not today. I said, be sure to wish Prayer Garden happy birthday. I changed it. I misread it. I was thinking it said her birthday was in June, but it's July. So I edited it to say, Make sure you guys wish Prayer Garden a happy 69th birthday this July. You know, the single mother with the young minor children. You know, the 69-year-old single mother. Come to Indiana hunting. Shut the fuck up. I know. Well, I don't have to keep defending them, and I choose to. I'm trying to limit how much info I put out. Of like, I'm working on it. Anyways, but they make it difficult when they go real life, because they know I don't care if they call me names or make fun of me or talk shit about me. That stuff, you know, doesn't sticks and stones, right? But then, you know, since they can't get me there, they start this real life stuff, and it's like they just beg for some kind of attention. Aw, thank you, Mrs. Colt. PG might have custody of her grandkids. That's totally likely. Is that the truth? It says it. I posted the screenshots on my community wall, and that's what somebody sent me. Somebody sent me those, and when they asked AI those questions, you know how you can ask your phone questions? Like, it shows the questions on the screenshots I posted that the person asked. They asked, who's the owner of Prayer Garden of America? And also and then it started talking about how her birthday was in July of 1955, and she's 68 years old and Caucasian. And the funny part is it says that her channel is a ministry. It's a ministry. A place to spread God's word. Obviously, those things can be wrong, but isn't it weird it came up Kathy Morrison like that? That's odd. Right, true crime housewife. I know. I mean, what was the point of it all? It's my thing. Can you tell me like what good is going to come of that? Now, she'll try to say, "Oh, well, you know, of course, Laura's cancer, you know, it's a good cause to help get her transportation and stuff." There's so many people in this chat who sent her money to contact Fred or to do this or do that. She never went and visited Fred once, or I'm just saying. People sent her money to get her ID. She never got it. People sent her money to get taxi or Uber rides to go to the doctor because of her cancer, supposedly, and she didn't ever go. It's, you guys, it's the same shit, different day. You know, I think it's crazy. I think it's funny that PG wants to come in as a hero when I've tried to help her and Fred for years, and then try to make it me out like I'm some kind of villain. I mean, anyways, when she doesn't know, PG's not in the position to speak on it. She doesn't know. You remember, guys, how PG acted like she was going to contact me for my side of the story? Did Prayer Girl never reach out or message me wanting to know my side of the story about Laura? Remember when she tried to fake that shit when I was on her panel and she confronted me when I was up there and I was talking about something completely different? And then she freaking corners me on her panel and starts badgering me about Laura. Then she asked me, "Can I contact you to ask your side about it? Because I think people deserve to know." I was like, "You can contact me, but really it's nobody's business." But I told her to. I said, "Yeah, go ahead and I told her to. Did she never tried to contact me. She doesn't care about the truth. I think so too. It should. Absolutely. You think I could get away with something like that? It should absolutely be, especially on GoFundMe, it should be absolutely a requirement. But, once again, they're get GoFundMe. They're a business. They're about the money. Even though it's like covered as it's supposed to be something to help people and a good thing, which it is, but there's tons of people that abuse it. And you don't have to put on there, you don't have to have any type of proof about your cancer or what you're going through. In my opinion, if people are collecting money for an illness I think you should have to prove it, honestly. And I don't see a problem with asking. I don't think anybody should be offended or mad, not even Laura. And I think people should understand, especially when it comes to something like cancer, which is a very sensitive topic, because many of our families, all of us, have been touched by cancer in some way. And so it pulls at people's heartstrings. It gets people to donate. But it's pretty, I don't know. It's just not, I wouldn't want the karma on lying about something like that, is what I'm saying. And it should be a crime. Not that I don't want Laura to get in trouble or anything. I'm not saying that. But it should be a crime for people to take in money under false pretenses. I mean, if it probably is illegal for somebody to have a GoFundMe up and taking money for cancer if they don't have it. I assume it's there's some kind of legality to that, right? No, Val, I don't. Because they have, it was over already before, you know, me and him even started really seeing each other, and they had already had lots of problems. They really didn't have, you know, a healthy, good relationship according to Fred, anyways, for the last few years. Why collect money for cancer when? Well, because she's collecting money supposedly for a vehicle to get there and back. Plea of the Fifth one asked if she was related to Don Wells, admitted to helping Don pass the lie detector. Yeah. And you know what? Screenshot Ziggy's members and PG's talking shit about Ziggy and Fred, and that's a shame. Oh, dang. Thug Mama coming in calling with the call out. What was this? There was another comment that I wanted to comment on. No, she doesn't have a license. We try, and that's another thing we were trying to get on her about. Because that was her excuse not to go see Fred. Because she didn't have an ID. Yeah, she's on disability. Laura's on disability. I do know that for a fact. Yeah, she is on disability. I absolute fact, I know that. Fred said it wouldn't take her much to get her license, but that she's never went and got her license. I guess she's never had a driver's license before. I know, and throws me under the bus, Marlena, and basically sets me up to look like a homewrecker. You know, like seriously. And I'm sure somehow PG's going to turn this all around on me and be mad at me for standing up for myself about being labeled a homewrecker, you know, and then really trying to rub it in and grab at people's heartstrings by just, you know, acting like, oh, Laura's just, this is the hardest time of her life and she's dying and Fred just left her. Or maybe she did have her license. I don't think she had her license before. She doesn't, but she doesn't have anything she doesn't have anything keeping her from getting her license. She just, like, she doesn't owe anything or anything as far as I know. And as far as Fred knows. Yes, sir. Seeing these monkeys when we hunting coyotes down here in Newport. Sorry, I'm way behind. I've been told we was lying 100 times. Wow, really? Are you? Do you know these people in that video I was just showing? So we have So you've seen them too near Newport. How far away from Beach Creek is that? Okay. Fred said she has had a license before. She just needs to go get it renewed. She'd have to take the test again and stuff probably, because I think it's been over 3 years. If you go without for over 3 years, you have to redo the whole shebang, like the tests and everything. At least in Indiana. I'm sure it's somewhat similar down here, or down in down there in Tennessee. You have to have an idea. Well, she's been on it for a long time, Laura. No doubt monkeys, or the possibility of them being, because I've seen the news reports regarding the monkeys in Hawkins County. Hey, Noelle. Anyways, I forgot. I freaking lost track of what I was freaking talking about. We were talking about monkeys, and I talked about license. Oh yeah, I was talking about license in Indiana. The requirements, like after 3 years. In Tennessee, I'm sure it's similar. She was even insulting us for supporting Ziggy, calling us trash. What? Who was? Oh, the Rose person? Yeah, I think that is a jerk. I'm pretty sure, but because I think there was somebody with, I don't, who knows? People, I don't know. They keep adding people to it. I don't know when people leave. And I heard that there was like some kind of love triangle going on lately. That's fucking hilarious. And now that person is like talking, telling all their secrets and stuff about all their lies. Tennessee license last 8 years. There's that name. Fred got a request from you on Facebook. After 2 years. Here in Indiana, our licenses last 7 years, and if your license has been like what's the word? Not suspended, but expired for over 3 years, then you have to do like the whole test and stuff again. If it's less than 3 years, you have to do if it's more than 3 years, you have to do the driving test and all that. If it's less than, you have to do well, not written, but you know what I mean, the computer test. But if it's been over 3, you have to do the driving test and the computer again. Am I the only one that thinks that PG could have summer and that's a good reason why she don't want to be found? Yes, that's my email right here. And that's how I would like to be too, Sage. Like that's how I try to be. Truly. I'm not going to attack somebody just because I don't agree about something. I'm not like these people. You know, I don't see how people get so obsessive and could get so mad about somebody they never met online to the point where they talk about the person every day of their lives. Like if somebody is leaving me alone, then I have no desire to go after anybody. You know what I mean? I don't see the point. It seems like a waste of your life. All right, guys, I guess I better go. I think you have to prove you have an illness for... No, you don't, Ice Peak. You don't, actually. But there are laws around fraud and taking in money under false pretenses. So I just be careful with that stuff. I would be afraid to even mess with that stuff. Like as far as, I mean, I'd be afraid to lie about something like that. Because to me, it sounds like it should, to me, it sounds like a crime. If not, it should be. Why? Why are you saying wait? I'm about to go head home. I'm not home right now. We're about to go leave. I was actually reading cards, and then somebody sent me that video on the Holler monkeys, which was really interesting. Thank you so much, Annie. You know how old PG was when she said she used Brillo pens? What's Marlena need? She says ideal for idea. I want to scream. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my God, that was my biggest pet peeve with one of my biggest pet peeves with Jim. He did the same thing. He'd say, "Oh, that's a great ideal." Oh man, I'd be like, idea. I said ideal is like, oh, that's an ideal color of yellow. Or that color of yellow is ideal for that jacket. Or for your skin tone. Or that would be ideal. It's idea is not an idea is I have an idea. Hold on. Somebody wanted to show something, but I do have to go after this. I truly do. I can't. Let's see. My computer all of a sudden, for some reason, is like. Oh. Oh my gosh. She's so cute. This is Marlena's granddaughter. She's only 6 days old, and her name is Baby Pearl. Hold on. Here's another one. I don't know why I'm laughing. Probably because, I don't know, like, babies they're so cute, but funny. Yes, precious. I know, Val. Sometimes I liked hanging out over there. You know, I did. I find she's funny sometimes to listen to, but I do know she's not a very honest person when it comes to I mean, you guys remember when she tried to say, like, she said that, and she said it in these words, that Summer's dead body was in the walls at the house that Don Wells was working on. And like she would say things so graphically. But she's gonna accidentally, or she's gonna get freaking start shit and talk shit about Fred because she thinks he accidentally said murdered instead of missing, which he didn't even say murdered, he said missing. But you're gonna give him a hard time about that, but you're the one that said Summer's dead body is in drywall. Or behind the walls. Yeah, hey, Noelle, I didn't really think she was Kathy. I found somebody that now I believe must be her sister, and they came on panel and then ended up over at PG's like 5 minutes later on her panel, which was really strange. Like, I'm like, okay, that's not sus or anything, because these people were supposedly coming on to confront me because I was saying that PG was, I can't remember who it was, and I was absolutely convinced, and I've been convinced since. But then they came up on my panel, and she came up on screen. A woman came up on screen and was like, I'm not prayer garden, blah, blah, blah. And then 5 minutes. See, you guys, prayer garden has like a few sisters around her age too. You have to take that into consideration. So I was thinking, well, maybe that's her sister, you know. But a lot of people really are convinced that she is Kathy Morrison, and that's a screenshot that somebody sent me. I guess when they asked the AI, that's what it said. Yeah, I went through got so much shit because of PG. Anyways, guys, I have to go, but we will definitely talk later. If Fred left you, he didn't leave me. He didn't. If Fred left Laura for you, that's not true, Beth Ann. He didn't leave Laura for me. That's not true. They were already broken up. They were already broken up, Beth Ann. Gosh, the misinformation that goes around. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.